Imagine for a second that you find something, an object, pulled from the sea, from an ancient shipwreck, that just completely rewrites history. A device so advanced that, honestly, it just shouldn't exist. Well, that's exactly what we're talking about today. We're diving into the mystery of the Antikythera Mechanism.
So let's go back to 1901. A group of sponge divers are exploring an ancient Roman shipwreck off the coast of a little Greek island called Antikythera. And among all the expected treasures, statues, pottery, they pull up this, or rather, these, 82 separate corroded chunks of bronze. Just a total mess.
And for decades, that's pretty much how it was treated. It was all fused together after 2,000 years on the seafloor, so it looked more like a lumpy rock than anything else. You could see little hints of a gear peeking through the corrosion, but what was it? For a long time, it just sat in a museum, a complete enigma.
So, what secrets were actually locked away inside this thing? The answer, it turns out, would challenge everything we thought we knew about the ancient Greeks and their technology. It would reveal a level of genius that wouldn't be seen again for more than 1,000 years.
The biggest problem, right, was how do you study something so delicate, so fragile, without completely destroying it? For a very long time, you just couldn't. But then, modern science gave us a whole new way to see. A way to digitally peel back the layers of time without ever touching it.
And you really have to appreciate what a challenge this was. We're talking about a 3D jigsaw puzzle broken into 82 crumbling pieces. It's kind of like trying to figure out how a smartphone works after it's been smashed with a hammer and then left at the bottom of the ocean for 2,000 years. Good luck with that.
And this is where the big breakthrough happened. Using high-resolution X-ray scanning, scientists could finally look deep inside all those fragments. And suddenly, this blurry mess on the left became the crystal-clear digital model on the right. For the very first time, they could see every single hidden gear, count every tooth, and, get this, they could even read thousands of characters of tiny text inscribed all over it, text that had been totally invisible for 2 millennia.
Okay, so now they can see inside. And what did they find? Well, they found it wasn't just a machine, it was a mechanical model of the entire cosmos as they knew it. An incredibly complex astronomical calculator that literally held the heavens in your hands.
The whole device was built around these really important astronomical cycles. One of the big ones was the Metonic cycle. It's a super clever 19-year pattern that perfectly lines up the solar year with the months of the moon. This was absolutely crucial for organizing their calendars, for festivals, and all sorts of civic events. But it got even more sophisticated. It also tracked something called the Saros cycle. This is a pattern about 18 years long that was actually figured out by Babylonian astronomers. And why is that important? Because if you can track the Saros cycle, you can predict when and where solar and lunar eclipses are going to happen. And the way the machine displayed all this info was just beautiful. On the back, it had these 2 intricate spiral dials. The top spiral tracked that 19-year Metonic cycle for the calendar. And the bottom one tracked the Saros cycle, month by month, with little markers that predicted upcoming eclipses, even down to the hour. Now, the front of the device was basically the main display, like a cosmic dashboard. It showed you the position of the sun and the moon moving through the zodiac. It had a little sphere to show you the phase of the moon. It had the 365-day Egyptian calendar, and it even tracked when major stars and constellations would rise and set throughout the year. The whole shebang, all run by a single hand crank. As amazing as all of that is, we're now getting to the part that is the true genius of this mechanism. Because hidden deep inside its gears was a feature so subtle and so brilliant that it showed a level of thinking we honestly thought was impossible for that time period. Just look at this schematic. It's a symphony of interlocking gears, all working in perfect harmony. But somewhere in the middle of all that beautiful complexity was one small, really bizarre-looking arrangement of gears that held the key to its most profound secret. Here it is. This is a close-up from the scans. It's called a pin and slot mechanism. See that? One gear has a small pin, and that pin moves around inside a slot on a second gear. Now, this is not how you build a normal clock. This is specifically designed to make the output gear speed up and slow down. It introduces a deliberate irregularity. But why? Because the ancient Greeks were incredible observers. They knew the heavens weren't perfect. They knew that the moon, for example, seems to speed up and slow down as it moves across the sky. So this device wasn't just modeling perfect clockwork circles. It was built to model the imperfections of the universe. And here is the big aha moment. That variable speed happens because the moon's orbit is an ellipse, not a perfect circle. Around 150 BC, an absolute genius of an astronomer named Hipparchos came up with a mathematical theory to explain this wobble. And what this mechanism does with that amazing pin and slot gear is it takes his complex mathematical theory and builds it physically in bronze. It's a working, mechanical model of the moon's elliptical orbit. So how could the researchers be 100% sure that's what was going on? Well, it came down to a very specific number. When they did the math, they realized that to build this system, you'd need gears with some very strange numbers of teeth. Their model predicted a gear with 53 teeth would be required, and when they went back and checked the scans, they found 2 of them. It was the ultimate proof. The math checked out. Realizing this, it just changes everything. We have to completely rethink what was technologically possible in the ancient world. This device isn't just a cool artifact. It's a ghost. It's evidence of a whole world of sophisticated knowledge that was almost completely lost.
And don't just take my word for it. This quote from the huge scientific paper published in the journal Nature back in 2006 really says it all. Nothing even approaching this level of complexity shows up again for over 1,000 years. It's like finding a smartphone on a Viking longship. It just doesn't belong.
Just look at this timeline for perspective. You've got the Antikythera Mechanism around 100 BC, then basically a massive gap. The next time we see geared devices this sophisticated are the huge astronomical clocks in the cathedrals of 14th century Europe. That is a 1,400-year gap in technology that we know of. This one device represents a leap that just vanished.
And that leaves us with this final, kind of haunting question. The Antikythera Mechanism only survived because of a lucky accident, a shipwreck that preserved it. It makes you wonder, was this a one-of-a-kind masterpiece? Or was it just one example of a whole tradition of technology that's been completely erased by time? If this existed, what other wonders have we lost?